Today, I travelled to Broad Key House to speak to Darren Hall from the Green Party. This guy stands a pretty good chance of winning the Bristol West election. It's time to drive this politician's career into the ground. Getting out the lift, you could already smell the marijuana. This was a cesspit if I've ever been in one. Time to break this guy down. Hi, I'm here to see Darren Hall from the Green Party.
Yep, that's me.
That's you?
Yes.
I just expected a politician to be wearing a suit, that's all.
Sorry about that.
Darren Hall, right?
Yes.
Green Party?
Yeah.
Do you smoke marijuana?
No.
It clearly says on your website bio page, you used to be a crime and drugs manager. So did you work for a cartel or were you more freelance?
No, I work for the Home Office here in Bristol.
The Home Office?
Yes. Back then I was just working, but
Okay.
I'm now a candidate. But I do have I have a 2-day-a-week job.
Which natural food shop do you work in?
I actually work for a festival called Big Green Week. We're doing behaviour change in the environmental sector.
And I also noticed you have a project called the Pale Blue Dot.
Yeah.
This obviously raises quite a lot of attention to the size of our planet within the universe. This doesn't make me feel very important.
Well, that's one of the points we make with Pale Blue Dot. And Carl Sagan's speech actually picks out people like yourself who try and think that they can run the planet. And that really isn't the way we see things.
This video is going to be watched by about 9 students. Now, not to make this sound like a loaded question, but on a scale of 9 to 10, how screwed are you if students don't turn out to vote?
Well, it was slightly unfortunate that the government decided to take away the pre-registration of voters, but we've been doing a lot of work to try and make sure that voters are registered in Bristol. And I think a lot now are, and I think a lot more than the government would like are going to vote, and they're probably not going to vote for the government.
So why would the government want students to vote?
Well, they say that, you know, it's part of democracy, but they, you know, why did they change the rules?
So let's move on to fracking. You wouldn't have 15 chaise long sofas in your house, so do we really need 15 national parks?
Absolutely, we could do with 15 more.
Could we not put a crater in Dartmoor?
I know that there are a lot of people who would love to go down there and dig out all the resources, but that's because they completely misunderstand the value of the beauty and the natural resource that's there. No, I don't think we can put a bomb in Dartmoor.
Are there economic alternatives if we don't turn to fracking?
Absolutely. And Molly Scott-Cato, who's the Green Party MEP, has just done a report about the South West, and we can be more than 100% reliant on renewable energy. In the South West, we've got a great coastline, it's quite windy, there's plenty of sunshine. Between those three things, we can entirely power our society in the South West through renewable energy.
The word technology has been used, often brutally out of context, in every political manifesto since the end of the Second World War. So what are your ambitions for Bristol in terms of technology, and how exactly are they going to work?
Okay, that's a huge question. You know, technology isn't a panacea for everything. It's useful, and we should adopt, we should pursue it, we should innovate, we should find ways of helping society be better because of that technology. What we've got to be careful of, though, is that we're not using that technology to just keep on increasing the carbon footprint by designing stuff that's built in China, built and made and then shipped back here to be played with for 35 seconds on Christmas Day and then end up in a big pile of recycling. We've got to ask ourselves what the technology is for. There's 50% of the periodic table in an iPhone, and that's being dragged out of the ground, often in very unhealthy ways, by people who are incredibly underpaid. So wouldn't it be brilliant if the iPhone was actually more like the Fairphone? And that's the kind of thing that we need to start talking about, is how do we make technology useful?
But you did say the iPhone would be recycled after the 3 minutes on Christmas Day, so surely it's all going back in the ground, right?
Well, wouldn't it be great if we had a circular economy? So as everything came to the end of its life, as this pen came to the end of its life, if absolutely 100% of this the materials within this pen could become the input to another process, then we wouldn't need to worry about it at all. It becomes part of a circular system, which is how nature really should work. The trouble is we're making stuff that won't break down for tens of thousands of years. We're turning it into stuff that can't be repaired.
I hear that you're opposed to 0 hours contracts. Why? I'm not paying these guys anything. Sorry.
Well, that's probably a case in point. People are finding it really hard to pay the bills, and frankly 0 hours contracts gives them no ability to know what's coming in that month, whether they're going to be able to pay the rent. We're not against flexible working. It's absolutely right and proper that companies are able to offer flexible working for the peaks and troughs, but frankly putting people on a contract that says, oh, by the way, we may not use you at all in any given week or month, is just not good employment policy. And if you're a good employer, you know that you can get the best out of your team if you treat them properly.
Now, 2013 was a big year for slashing legal aid. I hear you want to bring a lot of it back. Shouldn't people be paying for their own lawyers?
That would mean that only the rich could afford to access to justice. Legal aid is one of those kind of features that I think the coalition government thought was going to go unnoticed. But the first time in 800 years the legal profession actually went on strike. That's unheard of, and it gives a measure of just how important it is.
So it's obviously very concerning for me to think that Vodafone should be sending over 1,700 phone records to Scotland Yard of News UK members. Now, I've been involved in a lot of art films recently, and I kind of rather the Scotland Yard didn't have hold of my phone record.
We're very clear about balancing the needs of freedom of speech, but security and defence of the UK. So, it's quite complex, and I think what the difficulty has been that a lot of this has been happening behind closed doors, and we need to have a much better transparent process for negotiating what data is personal and what data is a security risk.
And do you think it's right to put secret surveillance on Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International?
No, I think we've got to be incredibly careful about the ability of security services to just kind of willy-nilly go looking for stuff that they want to get hold of. It definitely has got to be kept out of politics. And the Lobbying Act was another one of those pieces of legislation that was in danger of restricting free speech. And frankly, the Green Party are very clear on the fact that we would repeal the Lobbying Act.
One thing I have noticed, the Green Party, it's quite a boring name for a party trying to attract the young vote, don't you think?
No.
I did bring along a few suggestions of my own, though, if I'd be allowed to read some of them to you.
Fair enough.
Okay, Greenado, Green Day, CeeLo Green.
No.
Mint Massacre.
Sounds good for chocolate.
Chateau de Chartreuse. Lines of the Left, Read Between the Lines, Shamrock Shuffle, Progressive Pines. Perfection. It seems my time with Darren Hall is over. Thank God. Now it's 5 o'clock martinis with Claire Hiscott. Darren Hall, it's been okay.
Thank you very much.